name for all the pretty girls, all the ones who came before, who left you broken hearted, you're back up again, so how would you cash in all your hard time, wasn't lost in company? Hey guys, Veronica Berrigan here. I just started the broadcast, so if you can hear me, can you please chat on the side here with me and say hi by just typing hi right here. I just want to make sure that you can hear me. I see attendees and I see the enabled chat button. So if you can hear what I am talking about, please go ahead and type right here on the side, hello. We are going to get started here very, very shortly. It is about 6:31. We're going to give it about another 20 to 30 seconds, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. So if you can hear me, just go ahead and type on the side, hello. Chat is enabled. You'll see it. You should be seeing a pretty funky screen that has a bunch of different screens and maybe directing you over to YouTube as well. But guys, if you can please type in the chat box so I can know that you can actually hear me. So type here. The chat box is right on your right-hand side. It should be, hopefully, on your right-hand side. So just type in there. And we are going to get started very, very shortly. So just give us a few seconds. And I'm going to start the presentation. You should be seeing a pretty funky screen. Right now. Hi, Cindy. Thanks for joining. Glad you can hear me. So I'm assuming that you can hear me. Thank you so much for joining. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so if you guys have any questions throughout the presentation, you can type right here on the side. Any questions and I will see them. Also, I will be sharing my PowerPoint presentation with you most of the time, so you'll see me navigate back and forth between screens. So you're able to look at exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Today we have a very awesome topic, and our topic today has to do with farming. So I want to go over everything that farming has to do, everything that has to do with as far as real estate goes, and why we use this term so commonly in the real estate industry, and how you can pretty much dominate and take over an area of focus with the strategies that I'm going to teach you today. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share now with you my PowerPoint screen. So if you have any questions, feel free and just typing them away. If I'm missing something or I'm not looking at your question, I also have my cell phone next to me, so you can always just send me a quick text message and I'll be looking at that as well. So let's go ahead and get started with geographical farming. All right, so first and foremost, we're going to talk today specifically about geographical farming, and I'll go into the different ways or the different types of farming and exactly what farming means. So farming, what you need to know. So farming is a long-term commitment. So just the way the word says, like a farmer that goes and plants the seeds and then harvests them when they're ready and ripe, that's exactly the way we correlate it as far as the real estate industry. It's about you, the realtor, choosing a specific niche, a specific area of focus, a specific demographic area, hopefully, right? Based on some research that we're gonna talk about right now, and planting your seeds. Well, the seeds symbolize the marketing messages or the advertisements that you're doing in a specific area. Now, the reason why we want to focus on a specific area and plant those seeds consistently is because of perception. The more touches you do within an area of focus, the perception really starts to shift and grow within the consumer, right? The consumer does not have MLS access info. They don't understand how many homes you really have sold if you're a new agent, or whether you really are the area professional that really focuses there. They basically see a lot of marketing messages for you. So the perception is that you must be the go-to gal or girl. And that's why farming works, because it's a consistent message that you're delivering. Now, today we're going to talk about a variety of ways to make these contacts, because now we can also include technology, which will help you stay in front of your area of focus, as well as the traditional methods, which absolutely work. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. So it's a long-term commitment, guys. This is not something that if you were to go do a mail campaign and you were to deliver or mail out 500 postcards to your farm area. I mean, you're not going to get a zillion calls on the first time, right? You may get lucky and get one call or two call. But the thing is that with time and the more you commit to it, the more you'll create that perception like I was talking about. So farming is about more than the real estate, It's really about being present in your farm and being known as that preferred agent in the preferred market area. Yes, technology can help us leverage all the different ways that we actually make contact with our people within an area. But guys, it's really about a good farmer, a good realtor that really impacts an area and becomes a preferred agent is very, very much present in the community. They are a raging fan of the community. They know what's going on. They not only know what's going on in the real estate world, but they also know maybe perhaps the lifestyle, the culture, and really the people that make up that community. That's the key with this type of marketing, because big companies such as Zillow that generate hundreds of thousands of leads every single day, they're a huge organization. All they can do is show people homes and houses. They cannot paint a story. They cannot tell the interested buyer exactly what the vibe is within the community. So that's why it's so crucial, you as a local agent, to really understand and focus in an area and understand the dynamics, the vibe, understand where a tenant lives, where a second homeowner lives, where somebody has lived for 4 or 5 years, understanding floor plans. And that's why we choose an area of focus, because you can't do this for the whole state of Arizona, and you can't even do this for the whole state of Maricopa. Plus, marketing budgets would need to be tremendous to be able to impact, 6 billion people in Phoenix, Arizona. So today, specifically, we're going to talk about farming and the two types of strategies and budgets. I'm going to talk about the sweat budget, which is basically you using all of our tools at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, which will cost you nothing, and it'll take basically your sweat, your time. And then I'm also going to talk about the check budget, because the check budget is going to include more of the putting money out to do some paid advertising and maybe some technology as well that will help you further increase your impact. So geographic is just one way of farming. There's also demographic. Perhaps you're focusing on tenants, on single parents, first-time home buyers. So there's different ways to actually do this. The most effective way is definitely geographically, because we can do a lot of research on it, and that's exactly what I'm going to be going over today. So branding and perception of a go-to realtor. That's why we do this. And then it's all about how many touches you make to your area of focus per month to take up market share. So if you have any questions, just plug them in there and I will see them. So what's your strategy? So first of all, we have to determine how many homes. Many of us say, well, I don't want to, this is the hardest part for a realtor. They can't commit to an area, or they can't commit to a particular niche. And the reason is because they're like, well, I don't want to say no to business somewhere else. The truth is, you will get business everywhere else, and you will handle that business, and you will get people into escrow and listings sold in areas outside of your farm expertise or farm area focus. But all of your marketing money, all of your marketing activities, time spent, and all of your lead generation will always be focused in that specific area. Yes, again, you will take clients from everywhere else, but your lead generation is going to be focused in this area. So we got to pick a number of homes. I always tell agents to start with about 500 or 250 if they really want to narrow down the time spent as well as the actual money spent, because if you're doing mail outs, it can get really expensive, right? And then also grow organically from there. Once you start converting these into actual clients and closings, then you can put more money back into your marketing budget to be able to capture a bigger audience. Most subdivisions are much bigger than 500, but again, it's about the consistency and being able to deliver this message for a very long period of time. So you don't want to start with a huge farm. So then the next thing is you got to determine your area, and I'll talk a little bit more about strategies and figuring out a good area for you. And you got to follow the consistency system. I'm going to be going over a calendar today that shows exactly a great farm marketing strategy for an entire month. This is kind of what you should be following as well, and staying consistent with the touches so they know that you're not a drive-by marketer that, you know, they saw you in August, but now all of a sudden they haven't heard from you since. So you got to make sure you stay present. And then we're going to talk about determining your marketing pieces, because that's actually something that really stumps realtors. It's like, okay, I get it, Veronica. You're telling me that I gotta stay in front of my area of focus. I've got to touch them, you know, 1 to 2 or 2 to 4 times a month. But what the heck do I send them? So we're going to be talking about that and how to streamline that and leverage it out to someone else that can help you with it. So now let's talk about how to actually pick a farm. So let me just go back really quick before we go into this. Let me just make sure none of you guys have any questions. So I'm going to go back really quick. So if there's any questions, just plug them in right here in the chat and let me know. Okay, going back to our presentation. Okay, so how do we actually pick a farm, right? First of all, it's hard to commit. And second of all, I don't know what determines is a good farm, right? So first and foremost, turn rate. I'm going to go over with you exactly what turn rate means and how to calculate it. We also have vendors and partners that can actually calculate this for you. But in essence, what turn rate means is what's the percentage of homes that are actually turning, that are selling within the area of your focus. Anything above like 5 to 6% is going to be a healthy place where you're going to focus. I'm going to talk about how to calculate that again and how to figure that out. Another great strategy is your neighborhood, right? Like people, you should already kind of know your vibe. You should know kind of the people around you, the activities that go on in that area. And of course, you're a raging fan already because you live there. So it makes sense to start with that particular with your particular neighborhood. Now, some of you may be in areas where maybe you just moved into a new home build community. It doesn't make sense because no one's really selling their home. Then at that point, you can definitely look at areas surrounding you so that you can have a solution for them when they are ready to sell. They're going to be basically moving in with you. And so that's one of the strategies that we actually look at. Subdivision with the clubhouse, those are always great. Or communities that have ongoing community events. Because again, it's about being a raging fan about the community. It's about bringing people to this amazing community that they want to be part of, right? And so clubhouses, and when they have areas like this, they usually have a lot of events going on. Perhaps now you want to promote the yearly water drive they do there, or their Easter egg hunt, or whatever that looks like. Maybe there's a pumpkin coloring contest that's going on in the clubhouse that week. Those are all things that you can use as marketing pieces to get people to come not only and be part of the community, but now you're that funnel of information that's helping them really engage and find out what's happening within their area or within where the area they live in. Surrounded by local businesses, so that's key. And if they're local, the reason I use the word local is because it's great for you to go make partnerships with these smaller businesses. If you try to make a partnership with a big company such as Starbucks or Walmart or whatever, they got to go up the corporate ladder where they're gonna have to ask whether they can be, there's a two-way street. If you're gonna go and promote the local coffee shop, then they're probably gonna let you leave their business cards there, right? And now you're gonna bring clients there, you're gonna do business from there. That's really being a raging fan. One of the key things that I'm seeing right now is agents doing correctly is video. It's free to do video, and if you have a fan page on your website on Facebook, if you have your fan page on Facebook, you can do a video interviewing the business owner and asking about how they got started, what their business is all about, and now you're promoting them. They're going to definitely thank you in return with referrals and, of course, them promoting your business. So being able and around an area that's either growing or that has some at least two really good businesses that you can connect with and actually talk to them about your strategy on how you're gonna market to this particular location. And I'm going to talk about that in our business, in our calendar. And then surrounded by new builds is a great strategy, especially for this year, for 2016 and 2017, and as the years progress. And the reason is because with new builds, you have a solution for them. If you're in a neighborhood that you're targeting where homes were built between 2000 and 2006, it's a very different feel and a very different way they were built. And so now maybe they want to upgrade to a more energy efficient home, not necessarily a bigger home, but maybe they just want more of the technology. And by the way, things have really changed with energy efficiency. So one of the things that you should be doing is not only visiting the local businesses every week or having a goal as to how many you're going to visit per month, but also the new builds. Get familiarized with the inventory. Talk to the sales agents. They know people that want to buy and sell. And then have the inventory in your head should someone come up and ask you about that particular subdivision that you're focusing on. You have to not only familiarize yourself through the MLS about what's happening there in the resale market, but you also have to know what's available within the new build community. And that's key because this year new builds are exploding and many of the new build communities actually have specs already. So specs already are built and they're ready to move in, and they're very, very competitive with the resale market right now. So you don't want to get X'd out of that. You don't want to give the impression to your client that you can't represent them in that type of transaction. Now for farming, it just works magically so that you connect with the sales agents, you build a rapport, and again, you get familiarized with the inventory. These are the top ways to actually pick a farm. Additional strategies. So if you're a seasoned agent, determining your geographical area can be easy by looking at your past closings. If you closed, 30 transactions in the last year, you want to go back and see where did you close the most listings, right? If you already have that rapport, if you already have that experience under your belt, then that's the area you probably want to start looking at. And why that's important is because now you have a story to tell. You actually have the experience to actually show them, that this is what you've done in their area. Now, if you're a new agent, the biggest things that we really focus on is your turn rate. Remember, we talked about this in the previous slide. So a new farm or new closings would really look at this. So how do we calculate the turn rate? In general, you want to select a farm area, again, with the turn rate above 6%. And to calculate the rate for the neighborhood you're looking at, you have to add up all of the properties sold within the past 12 months and divide that by the total number of homes in the area. Now, how do you find out the total number of homes in the area? You can pull that from the MLS and go into the tax records, but a lot of the times that information is not correct because these subdivisions sometimes have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So most of the time what I'll do is I'll connect you with one of our title companies and they can actually calculate turn rate for you. All you have to do is give the title company your neighborhood, so subdivision. So it's either West Wing or Terramar or Straight Mountain Ranch, whatever it's called. It's the actual subdivision, so they can calculate how many homes are there, and then they can give you a turn rate. So again, above 6%, it's awesome. If it's at 5% borderline, 4.9, whatever that looks like, if it's above $500,000 value, then you're good, because of course those are going to have a smaller turn rate, but it's still a very good neighborhood to focus on. So we want you to make sure that you understand the turn rate in the area you're focusing to make sure that it's a viable community for you to start marketing it. So strategy. So this is how we start getting into the numbers, right? So if you're focusing on 500 homes with a turn rate of, that means 500 homes that you're marketing to consistently every single month. Again, we'll get into the calendar right now. That you're marketing that has a 5% turnover. That means that, or turn rate, that means that there's going to be 25 possible listings just in that area that you're marketing to. Even if that subdivision is 5,000 strong, just within that subdivision, what we're saying is that we're going to get 25 listings just from that area, which equals really 50 sites. It's 25 buyer sites and 25 seller sites. So what we've seen with 2 touches per month, that's only 2. And if you're consistently doing that, then the goal is to get 20% market share within the 8 to 12 months. That's really where we've seen. Again, this is not like a spaghetti. Let me throw it on the wall and hope it sticks. This is long term. This is forever. This is, you're not going anywhere. You are the go-to gal or guy in there. So that would equal 10 transactions just from your farm. So it's amazing when you calculate, because if you stay focused, just like the big companies do, and have a focus is exactly as to where you're going, then that's where you start picking up market share. But again, this is not drive-by marketing. This is consistency, and this is having a valuable marketing message to actually deliver to your clients. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So now I want to show you what a perfect marketing strategy would look like. This is a calendar that I created for our agents that basically would show what a perfect month in real estate would look like as far as marketing and lead generation. Let me see if it looks a little bit better over here. And let me make sure you guys don't have any questions. Okay, no questions yet. And I will pull it up here. This is a little better to see, so I'm just gonna go and make this a little better. Let me just make this a little better so you guys can see it. Okay, so here's the sample marketing plan. So the farm and the marketing calendar, this is for Sonoran Hills. And as you can see, we have week 1. Week 1, as you've already picked your area and you've decided where you're gonna go, every Monday, or at least once a week, you can schedule yourself as your time allows. But every Monday I call Research and Follow-Up Monday. And what I do with that, when you've picked your farm area, you have to research and you have to get into the MLS and look at exactly what's happening in your subdivision. Now you can go into your MLS and you can plug in sales, active listings, pendings, expireds, canceled. You can put everything you want on that MLS, and you can find out what the activity has been for the entire week. Why that's important is, first of all, of course, you're the person who focuses in that area consistently, right? But number 2 is that you can actually start making calls. This is the most beautiful thing. We never do sales calls at Berkshire Hathaway. Why don't we do sales calls? The reason is because we're not selling. What we're doing is we're calling to provide valuable information. So if you're focusing on every Monday, you're researching your farm, you're researching floor plans within your farm, so you really get a good idea of each of the different floor plans. Most builders only have, 4 to 6, so you can really get to memorize them. Upgrades, you get to understand, again, where the tenants live, where the second homeowners live, where someone's lived for 4 to 5 years. That's how you really become an expert. It's all about preparation. So if you're not doing your research consistently, because things change very quickly within an area, then you're not going to become that go-to person. And you're not going to be able to build also great marketing messages that are tailored based on your community and based on your audience, right? More importantly, a perfect farm would include some calls within the farm. So now that I've done my research and it's Monday, then I'm going to call 10 people on Monday, and I'm going to tell them, hey, did you know that 123 ABC Street just got listed? Oh, and by the way, we're offering free, I never say free, complimentary market analysis of your home. Would you like us to email it to you? So now you're providing a service. You're telling them that something just got listed or just got sold. And now you're asking them if you could take down their email so that we can provide them a free comparative market analysis. When you get your goals down to a point where you know exactly the calls that you need to make per day, it gets a lot easier and it's a lot less overwhelming. So 10 maybe calls, whether they answer or not, you can make a rule. As long as I dial 10 people, or as long as I make 10 contacts, you can, whatever you want. There's no rules for that. It's about you feeling comfortable. Maybe you're starting brand new and you said, I'm gonna make 1 call a day. And how do we give you guys these phone numbers? We have a service for you that you give us an address within an area that you're focusing in, and we give you 1,500 contacts around that area. About 60% of them will have their phone number on this Excel sheet that we send to you. Katie, my admin, will send it to you. You can request it from her. And now you have a phone list to actually call and have these conversations with. So that's Monday for y'all. Tuesday, you're making another 10 calls, just listed calls, or just sold, right? Whatever you want to do. Maybe the whole week you're going to do just listed. Wednesday, you're going to send out your 500 mail out piece. And maybe the first of the month, the first week of the month, you're sending a newsletter, whatever that looks like. I'm going to go into our impact marketing site so I can show you exactly how to streamline this. This is just giving you an example of the touches right now, guys. But when I go into our impact marketing site, you can actually schedule all of your mail outs and also all of your even digital touches. So they'll be scheduled in advance, so you don't have to worry about going in the system and telling it, don't forget to mail this and don't forget to mail that. Now, if you're not spending money on mail, because it does cost money for postage and all of that, then if you're on a sweat budget, that's exactly what I'm going to go over next, then you're not mailing, then perhaps you're just printing them in-house. And what you're doing is you're delivering, if you're focusing on 500 homes that you already picked, the same 500, maybe you're delivering 100 right here, and then 100 right here, 100 right here, and 100 right here. So you see how this works? If you don't want to spend the money on the or you are on a sweat budget, then you're going to do the work yourself. So we're going to put 100 right here. That's 500 that you can actually just deliver without even knocking. So you're just going to deliver and play the numbers game. That'll still give you the same advantage as a mail would, right? And you're testing your different strategies. I have many agents that do this, by the way, and 100 is going to take you about 2 hours. And that's on average. It's going to be 1.5 to 2 hours. So it's a lot of time. Some agents wake up at 5:30 in the morning, they jog or they run, and this is exactly when they get it out. So you decide, and we're going to go over that in a few seconds, sweat budget versus check budget. Now, the next day, you're probably doing a Facebook ad within the farm. Now, I have a whole video on just Facebook advertising, but the cool thing about Facebook advertising is that I can put a marketing message in front of my people without ever having to mail or talk to them or do anything else. And how we do this in Facebook advertising, technology has really, and I do a lot of classes on technology, but the thing is that now we don't have to mail anything, and we can create the same paper campaign within Facebook. You do have to have a business page or a fan page, which I can help you create, or if it's very easy, you can do it in probably 2 minutes. But when you're creating an ad, what you're doing, and I'm not going to go into all of the details because I have a whole video that teaches you this. But the cool thing with technology is that we're going to send people to our website. And maybe now this week, what you're doing, and instead of doing a flyer that you're going to mail out, maybe you're telling people this week in West Wing, maybe I want to do an ad that says, thinking of selling your home. So I'm going to copy this URL, go in here. Now I have a place where I'm going to send them to read my information in hopes that they give me their contact info, right? So if you're focusing in a farm area, all you would do is you would plug in the address right here. Oops. Here's our office address. So let's say that was my farm focus. This is the area where I want to focus. Now it's asking me, do I want to, how many people around this area do I want to send this ad to, right? So here you can tell it 5 miles, 10 miles, 2 miles, or only people in this area. I'm just going to leave it like that. And now you can actually send people to your website based on where they live. It's pretty exciting now that we can do this digitally, because then we would plug in the URL back here. And now the ad is going to show up to them, and it's going to say, hey, people in West Wing, Did you know that you can go to my site and check out this whole, what was we thinking of selling your home? Before you sell your home, make sure you go to my site and check out what you need to do to actually get it ready to sell. So there's a ton of marketing messages within your website that you can drive them there to. The name of the game for online lead generation is you have to get people to go to your website. Now, how you get people to go to your website is through paid traffic and advertising like I just did here. And again, I just went through it very quickly. This is actually an ad that shows up to people based on where the area that you picked and the behaviors. There's a zillion messages that we could do here. So when I talk about Facebook advertising, your budget can be as low as $5 a day. And now you're consistently promoting your website, or you're promoting your product, or any other thing that your marketing messages, and you're telling these people within the area that you're focusing in to go check out your site. So it's a whole other strategy, and it does involve a little bit more of a monetary, but it can be as cheap as $5 per day. So now I've got, maybe it costs a lot cheaper than mail, I'll tell you that, because the cheapest you can get mail outs right now is about 38 cents a postcard. So with 38 cents a postcard, times 500, it's a lot more expensive than if you just did a Facebook ad targeted to them. Now, there's a lot of things you need to learn about online advertising. Your messaging has to be strategic. So if you want to get into this type of marketing, just contact me and we'll set up a separate meeting for that. So that's your first week, guys. This is how you're impacting your farm. Now, they're not only hearing from you on the phone, you're doing your research, you're doing your mail out, and now you're doing your Facebook ads. That's huge, right? And so the next week, we go into the next week, the second week of the month, and we're doing research on Monday. And then perhaps that week, what we're going to be doing is we're going to identify an open house to do inside that farm area, right? And so if you don't have any listings, you don't have to worry, because you can look at our inventory, be proactive, contact our agent within the company, and basically say, hey, I want to do the open house in West Wing because that's where I'm focusing in. And if they're not doing their open house, they will more than likely, especially, allow you to do it. And so if you're going to do, and I always say the second week of the month, focus on an open house. Now, if there's no open houses available in your farm area where you're picking, then don't worry. Just pick something as close as possible. The key is you got to generate leads and contacts, right? But hopefully there will be one in that neighborhood that you're focusing in. And if you have an open house, then what you're doing is you're identifying the open house on Monday. You're done with your research. You followed up with all of your leads from the week prior and all the ones that you've had to your database. And now you're actually looking at the MLS to look at the different open houses that are available, or the different inventory that's available for you to pick from. I will quickly show you in Armless how to look at our company listings so you have an idea. You log into Armless. You're going to go right on the dashboard, and then we're going to look at the company listings. So you can see what that looks like. Plus, you guys get a ton of emails every single time asking you if you want to do an open house here, you want to do an open house there. So you're going to get on your dashboard, and then right here under search, there's office listings. That's just for the Northwest, right? But then there's also company listings. So you can look at both, and you can see what's available to see if there's an open, and then contact the agent and see if you can do an open house for them. So that's how that works. Let's go back to the calendar. So now you've identified an open house that you want to do in that area, right? It's all about being present. Now you're getting prepared for your open house, because you don't want to be that agent that just shows up and does the open house with open house signs and that's it. That's not going to drive your traffic. We have a lot of pre-marketing opportunities that will help you actually execute better traffic into your open house. So even if it's not your listing, this is a great opportunity now to promote it, to get people to come, right? So on Tuesday, what you're doing, if you're going to have an open house, you've identified it on Monday, your open house is on Saturday or Sunday. So then on Tuesday, what you're doing is you're preparing for your open house. You're getting the marketing ready, whether it's a flyer or we have free door hangers for you at the office. You can check out 50 at a time, take out 50 at a time. where it's an invitation and it's a door hanger that you put on people's doors, and you can actually invite them to your open house. You're visiting the open house that day, and because you did your research, you're actually going to visit some comparables so that you have an idea of the neighborhood. If you're going into a brand new idea that does not, a brand new neighborhood that you've never been in before, then it's all about being prepared, guys. It's not about how many years you have in the industry. Tuesday, you should be using to actually go visit the house, go visit the comparables, and be prepared. And maybe right there and then you can do a video right on your phone promoting the open house. So we can use it on your Facebook, we can use it on YouTube, we can use it in a million ways. Wednesday, hopefully you're doing other lead generation and things of that nature. But then Thursday, we give you a free call list to actually call. Now you have an open house, and if it's not in your farm area, because we gave you those phone numbers already, it's somewhere else, just email Katie or admin. Katie, KATY.MESSER @BHHSAZ.com. Email her and tell her, here's the new address where I'm doing my open house. I need phone numbers for that area around. And what are you doing with these calls? You're basically just being friendly. You're calling and saying, hey, by the way, I'm having an open house today at 1, 2. This is Veronica Berrigan with Berkshire Hathaway. Having an open house today or on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I'm calling to invite you. And basically they'll say yes or no, I don't want to talk to you, whatever that looks like. And then finish it off with a closing, always as, we're also providing free market analysis for your home. Would you like us to email you what your home is worth? Very easy, right? Very candid conversations. Now they're hearing your name. They're seeing you in the community. They're seeing your signs. It's all about that impact, right? So you're calling in and inviting at least 50 people to the open house. At the same time, you can also be running ads for that open house. The way I showed you right now, we can plug in that address into Facebook advertising. And now we can tell it, hey, why don't you promote this open house? And you can find it on your website, that listing, and drive them specifically to that listing and say, come check out my open house from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, et cetera, et cetera. So now you're promoting the open house and raising the awareness of it and hopes to get more traffic. So maybe you're running an ad for $5 on Thursday, another ad on Friday, and another ad on Saturday. So that's $15 total. Not that expensive to actually get you more traction, right? And then you're actually hosting your open house. And for my newer agents, we sit down through the process of what to bring, what marketing materials. We have a whole open house tutorial and webinar. So don't get overwhelmed. This is just really a quick tidbit on the open house situation. And then the following week, what you're going to do is you're just going to follow what happened on the first week. Follow up Monday, 10 just sold calls, 10 just sold calls. You got your mail out that's going to go on Wednesday. You got your Facebook ads that are coming out the week. You're doing your calls. You're staying present within the community. Now, also what I would include here during this week is some type of community event, or maybe if there's no community events, then maybe you want to go eat at a local restaurant. You want to go engage with one of the local business owners. Be present. That's key. And then the last week, you're going to go back to your same strategy. So you see how there's a zillion touches here. You know, the old farmer only did about 2 touches per month, and they would probably get about 20% market share probably by the 8th month, right? Now we're doing 4 different touches a month. Actually, we're doing a zillion more touches a month. We're doing calls, Facebook ads, we're doing open house. I'm talking about 6 to 8 different ways we're touching these people a month. So of course, that market share is going to increase tremendously. You're going to have a more opportunity to actually capture those listings that are going to happen based on your churn rate. So this may seem confusing. There's a lot of different things in here that you're doing, right? Now, as a new agent, I always tell you we got to focus on one thing and do it really well, and then add, right? So maybe you hate the phones, but you can commit to doing, an open house every Saturday. Or maybe you're not going to invest in Facebook advertising just yet, and what you're just going to focus on is mail. So this whole calendar, guys, use it as a platform, but also pick and choose what you're already comfortable in. So first of all, Pick the area of focus. And then second of all, look at all these different ways we can generate leads, right? Within the area of focus. And then decide which ones are the ones that you can commit to. Just one. Just one. You don't have to do 20. You don't have to do all of these. I talked about a zillion ways to impact the neighborhood, right? You don't have to do all of them. Just pick one, max two, do it really well, maximize on it, and then add to your business plan. So let's go back over here so I can actually talk to you a little bit about your budgets. Any questions at all right now, just type them in on the site. I'm just going back and forth, okay, guys? So any questions, type them on right here. Hopefully you guys can see the chat box. I am getting your texts, Jerry. So I'm here, I'm seeing them. So thank you guys for joining. Let me just check over here to make sure I have no questions over here. All right, so let's keep going. We're almost done. So remember I told you I was going to talk about a sweat budget versus a check budget. So as a new agent, it's pretty important that you do not get so involved with all the different ways to do it and focus on 1 to 2 things and do them really well. Also, as a new agent, you got to play the green light, red light. You don't want to invest a lot of money up front if you're not closing anything. So we want you to use our systems and our tools so that you're not forking up the money and you're learning how to do it in the real way that's going to teach you the best, right? Not including technology just yet to help you leverage. So sweat budget. This is your time, your commitment. This is basically using our tools. So 2 marketing pieces a month for 3 months, and you're gonna hand deliver them, right? That's why we only wanna focus on 250 homes a month or 500 homes a month max, right? And I am gonna show you a zillion marketing pieces that you can deliver in just a second. One pieces a month after the 3rd month for life. So you kind of stagger out. So 2 marketing pieces a month for 3 months consistently. Then after that, you can go to like 1 piece because now you're finally making that impact and that perception. If you have the budget and the time, you should consistently stay with at least 2 marketing pieces a month forever, right? That's going to get you more traction. It's going to get you more exposure. You're going to do your weekly phone calls to the farm because that doesn't cost you any money. We give you the phone numbers. Basically, you just have to have the willpower to do it. And maybe you're doing a free community blog post a week. You can actually blog on your website that we give you. There's going to be a class on that September 7th at the office at 9 a.m. And I'll also be doing a virtual or a webinar on it later on this month, or in September, I'm sorry. So you can learn about that. That's free to you, but it's great for free search engine optimization. It's great for Google searches because they love raw, unique material. And then you're going to attend a community event a month. Doesn't seem too hard, right? You're door knocking or you're hand delivering, you're making phone calls, you're blogging or you're posting something on your Facebook about the community consistently. That's free marketing. That's going to get you some traction, and you're attending a community event. By the way, if there is no Clubhouse available, then you can go to meetup.com, meetup.com, and find out exactly what community events are happening, or there's clubs around there that you can actually join, find things that you actually connect with so you can start networking and talking to other people. Also business owners, that's actually, I forgot to put that on here. Business owners, make sure you're meeting at least a couple of business owners a month. If there's more for you to choose from, you should be meeting absolutely all of them. Local businesses are the best ones to get to as far as going back and forth two-way street with referrals. Now, if you're in a check budget, this is kind of my whole calendar that I shared with you included a lot of the sweat budget activities as well as a lot of the check budget activities. So if you're on a check budget, you're 2 marketing pieces a month and they're mailed. And there's a service called Every Door Direct that mails them for you. Or even better, what I'm going to show you right now is impact marketing that actually you can schedule it out for however long you want. And they're super cheap and the best pricing you can get out there. And then maybe you're doing 3 Facebook ads a week, 12 twice a month. If you're doing 3 Facebook ads a week, twice a month, that means 1 per day. That would equal 6 Facebook ads. Then you have to spend at least $5 per day on Facebook ads. So that would be about $30. And then you're driving them to your website. That's not too bad. You know, it's a lot cheaper than actually mailing. But again, especially if you're going to affluent neighborhoods, like anything above 400,000, it's a good strategy to do both, to actually do both. We do know less and less people come from print and from mail, but just the expectations that they have of us as a realtor is very, very different than, you know, at a 200 point or anything else. So 3 Facebook ads a week, and then a monthly mail out for life. And the best monthly mail out to do is your monthly newsletter. People love newsletters, and we have a designer for you that actually creates your newsletter specific to the area you are focusing on. You can go to tools, that's G-O, the number 2, tools, TOOLS.com, and you can see, you can actually request your newsletter there. You can request a specific area of focus. They'll send it to you for approval and proof every single month, and then you can actually print it and mail it out. And now you're going to probably do a community blog post on your website as well, you know, talking to them about the neighborhood and the things that are happening within there. You're going to attend a community event, and you really are going to do at least 1 Facebook ad a week for life. You're never going to stop that. I mean, it's cheap. The most important thing is being able to do really awesome ads. You know, how am I driving them to my site? What do they want from me? And that's why it's also pretty cool when you focus in your neighborhood, because you kind of have a real good vibe as to the community and what they're seeking from you. So you see, very different. Sweat budget, it's going to cost you nothing to 0, but it's going to take a lot of your time. Check budget is going to be leveraged out. You're going to be using technology, different strategies, but it's going to cost you a little bit more money. Marketing pieces. So this is what stumps a zillion people. Well, now you're telling me that I have to touch people, you know, 2 to 4 times a month. What the heck am I going to send them, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the number one thing is we have impact marketing, so you don't have to worry. I will share that website with you all and how to get there. But, you know, you have a newsletter. We have this farming calendar that we do for you every quarter that gives you at least 12 choices of different flyers that you can actually send out to your area farm, either digitally or printed. Market analysis software, those are always the best. They're the highest converting. You know, now you're telling people, go to my site or call me if you want me to give you a free home analysis of your home or a market value analysis of your home. Just listed postcards, just sold, open house listings, open house postcards. Market trends are huge. Like we do this at every sales meeting. We go over like what's happening in the market. These kind of conversations they don't have access to, so they want to know what appreciation is, how many homes sold. So if you're putting out a message like that, it's always very valuable. And then also just community events. Again, you're the raging fan. You are the go-to person within this area. So now you're also promoting their events. What we've done at Berkshire Hathaway that has helped tremendously, though, is that we've partnered up with Impact Marketing, and I love their systems. So when you go into your VAC, that's your Virtual Access Center, guys. So that's internet.bhhsaz.com. This is your hub. This is everything. This is your whole business. This is where everything lives. When you go to resources and you go to marketing, farming flyers, that's the ones that I just showed you. They're pre-done for you for each quarter, and they are specific to even to holidays and things of that nature. Go to tools, there are other free marketing site. That one has all of our local marketing. Diane Fay, our marketing director, actually manages that, and there's a lot of like just listed, just sold. But the biggest thing for farming that I think is so valuable is impact marketing right here. So you should have your user and password. If you don't have it, let me know. But impact marketing is a phenomenal program that we just associated with. Most agents have to pay a lot of money to be part of Impact. But we made a partnership with them where you don't have to pay anything. Now, if you do have listings, they'll appear on the side. I have a ton of co-listings with some of my agents as well, because when you list your home, your own home for sale, you have to add me as a co-lister, and that's a whole other conversation. But that's exactly how it goes. They will show up here, so you can actually populate marketing for it. But for your farming, what's really awesome is that now you have your 500 homes that you're going to be focusing on consistently, right? You can actually load your mailing list here, and then they'll know exactly who to mail it to. And now you can go to direct mail, or you can go to flyers and brochures and actually pick the pieces you want to go out to them and time when you want them to go out. So you can say, you know, every Wednesday I want, you know, this piece to go out, or every other Wednesday I want this piece to go out to these specific people. So they'll only charge you for the actual when it actually goes out. So they won't charge you if you schedule it out for a year. But what this does for you, it helps you leverage. So you don't have to worry about reminding yourself, hey, I forgot I had to do this. Now, what piece am I going to send? There's over 1,000 templates in here, guys. So there's ways to promote yourself. There's property listings. There's door hangers. They can do a million different things. Magnets, notepads. I mean, you decide what's your budget. How am I going to impact this particular neighborhood? So you get to schedule it out, so you don't have to worry about the maintenance. Now, if you have any questions, if you haven't taken our class, because this website has a lot of information, there's even a radius search and all of that, just call them right here, 1-800-454-7622. They don't charge you for this, guys. They will even redesign a template if you don't like it. They'll walk you through the entire process so you know exactly. And if you don't even want to learn it, just tell them this is what I want, and they'll do it for you. So you don't have to learn anything right here. But it's a huge system, especially if you're going to get into mail campaigns. And I do, you know, the top producers do both. They'll do some mail campaign and a lot of online advertising. Again, if you're impacting a neighborhood, you know, you got to make sure that you stay present in every way possible. So that's impact marketing, and that's through our VAC site. Okay, and then there's other tools that you can use if you don't want to do the mail. There's every flyer direct. It costs about 16 cents per 1,000. So you're only paying about 160 if you do want someone to just drop them off for you. Of course, if you're focusing on 500, it's going to be $80, but that's just something if you want to actually leverage. There's geographicfarm.com, which does also their own streamlined farming. That one costs a lot more. They're about $400 to $500 a month on about 200 properties. So use impact marketing. And then of course the VAC impact marketing, that's going to be my #1 go-to, not only on the digital side, but also on the printed side, so that you can schedule out your stuff and you don't have to stress out about figuring out what to send, as well as making sure that it actually went out. All right, we're getting right to the end, guys. So do we have any questions at all right now? Anything that you guys have questions on? Because we are right at the end. I do hope that farming makes sense. I hope that you understand now exactly what a farmer is, and it's not about overalls, guys. It's just about impact, touching consistently, picking an area, and delivering that message. So do we have any questions at all? I'll give it about 20 more seconds. If we don't have any questions, then we're almost done. All right, it looks like we may not have a lot of questions. So there's a lot of information, I know. What I would suggest is that you look at that calendar, that farming calendar. You look at all the different ways you can lead generate within that farming calendar, and you really stick to 1 to 2 max. That's it. I'm not telling you to do all of them. As you progress, especially as a new agent, you will adapt to all of them. But to begin with, what's the one thing I'm going to do? Is it an open house? Am I going to call people? Am I going to mail? What is it that I'm going to do? And then let's stick to that, systemize it, and we'll figure it out from there. Awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you all that are on this call. I can't see everyone, but I know Jerry, Cindy's here, Kyle. I think we have a few others. Thank you guys so much. And again, the calendar, that's a good question, Cindy. The calendar is on our Facebook group page, and I'm gonna add you to that. And I'll also email it out to those that attended the webinar today. I will email out the PowerPoint as well as the actual calendar. And then remember, you can always go back to this YouTube channel and watch this replay as well. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. You are 5 minutes out early from class. Thank you for taking the time to invest in your business. And I wish you all a fantastic evening. And please connect with me if you have any additional questions. Have a great evening. Bye, everyone.